Hi everyone, this is Kelly Allen, and I'm following up on a couple of videos that I uploaded onto YouTube about 5 months ago, and the videos were explaining my call to the medicine, 5-MeO DMT, and a video of the actual ceremony, describing the actual ceremony. And so I just wanted to follow up on that and talk to you guys now that it's been 7 months since I actually participated in the ceremony. I wanted to follow up with those who are interested in following my story and kind of discuss the process that's known as integration, that integrating the psychedelic experience. And I think it's really important. There are a lot of people right now that are interested in, they're hearing about ayahuasca ceremonies, they're hearing about DMT, they're hearing about 5-MeO DMT, they're hearing about psilocybin and treatment with psilocybin and other psychedelics as well. And I think something that's really important as if you've been exploring, you've probably come across the discussions on set and setting your intent before going into ceremony. And these are obviously very important things, and at some point I may do a separate video on these topics as well. But I don't find a whole lot that discusses the topic of integration. And integration is, I've come to learn, is as important as the actual ceremony itself. Not only is being prepared for the ceremony important for doing or taking advantage of psychedelic medicine for healing, for growth, spiritual growth, for spiritual attunement, things of that nature. But following the ceremony, the healing and the process of the work the medicine is doing on you and in you and through you continues. And I've come to learn that myself. And I have participated in a couple of sessions with very, very powerful healing sessions with psilocybin, magic mushrooms. And it's been incredible in not only helping me to integrate the experience, the 5-MeO DMT experience, which happens so fast. So much happens so quickly with that medicine, and the process of integrating everything that you've experienced, and what you may hear the term downloaded. Information is downloaded to you in that ceremony while the medicine is doing its work on you, and while you've hopefully had what's called a breakthrough experience, which I'll do another video on that as well. The breakthrough experience, I don't think everyone has to have a breakthrough experience the first time they do it. I think what your path is, what your journey is, where you are in your readiness is critical to how it will unfold. And there's no wrong. There's no wrong experience to have. And people often ask me, do you recommend that everyone go out and do 5-MeO DMT? Do you recommend that everyone go out and do other psychedelics and have this experience? And I say, if the medicine is calling you, then you may want to heed that call. If you watch my videos, I'll put the links below in the description here, and hopefully that will, if you haven't seen them, watch those, and that'll help you to understand why I felt called, why I was called to 5-MeO DMT, why the medicine called me. And it was critical to my healing, and it was vital to my ability to continue living. It saved my life. So definitely check that out if you're interested, and that'll help you understand where I'm coming from. So in response to the question, do I think everyone should do it? No, I don't. I think if you're not ready for it, if you're not called to it, it may not be the right time for you. And if it's not the right time for you, that doesn't mean that I'm more spiritual because I was ready for it. I needed it. I needed to have the experience. So that was part of my readiness, not necessarily meaning that I am more spiritual than someone who is not ready for it. Not at all. There are people far more spiritual than me who have not done psychedelics at all, not ever, and that's okay. So, I'm not out to recruit people to do psychedelics, and absolutely, I would tell people you can't unknow what you know. And one of the challenges I've had, going back to the theme of this video, which is the integration process, one of the challenges that I've had in the last 7 months is it's been hard for me to live in this world knowing what I now know and having seen and having experienced what I have seen and experienced. It's difficult for me to want to remain here, to be honest, but I have, through the integration process, I have learned and come to understand that we are sparks of divine. We are sparks of God, unique sparks of divine, and we are here to experience. We are here as creator, being creation, enjoying the experience. And in spite of the circumstances that led me to the medicine, you can watch the videos, but led me to attempting suicide and dying and surviving, being revived, and then being called to the medicine. In spite of those circumstances, I now understand, as difficult as it is and as hard as it is for me to deal with the pain and the grief of my circumstances, I'm here to live, and I'm here to serve the purpose that I came to do. I do have a story, and another video that I intend on making, and the topic that I will be addressing, is the whole topic of stories. We hear people say, you have to let your story go. You created this story, so stop with the story and let it go. Free yourself from the story. Well, I may be wrong, and I may come to understand that I'm wrong, and that's part of what I'm learning, is that there is no, I get it, I have it, I totally know everything now. So now I can tell you with absolute certainty what the truth is. And that's not the case, not for me. That's not my personal experience. I do know a lot more than I knew. I have a deeper and greater understanding, and especially an understanding of the love of God. But I also have come to understand that my story is my story. I believe that I made a divine agreement. I believe that prior to coming into this reality, into this existence that is an illusion in a very real sense, if that makes sense. This is an illusion, but I came as a unique spark of the divine creator, and as creation, to have the experience that I chose with the people that I chose to have it with, and to fulfill a role that I decided that I was going to experience, so that I could learn, most importantly, learn to live in love, and most importantly, learn to love, and most importantly, to be love, which is what Creator is. God, Source, whatever you want to call it, that's what Source is. Source is love. I have been very blessed to have the opportunity to go back to that source and experience that, and remember that that source is love, and to come back and integrate my experience with an understanding and a realization that I'm here to experience. And that's what I'm doing. And I'm hoping that by making these videos, this helps you. So on the topic of story, and owning your story will probably be what I'll title that video when I make it. I believe that we are here to own our stories. We don't have to release our stories. The story that we are living is part of that learning. The learning to love, learning to live love, learning to give love, learning to be love. That's really a part of what our story is, serving us and our brothers and sisters on this planet, that's what we're here to do. That's what resonates with me at this point. And again, I don't ever want to, please, if you ever see me make a video and I tell you I have it all figured out, please delete my video. Please get rid of me off of your watch list, because I believe it's evolutionary. I believe we continually evolve, and I'm evolving, and I'm learning, and I'm growing, and I'm figuring it out. So to go back to, watch for the video, if you're interested, watch for the video where I speak to owning your story, and allow your story to serve you as long as it needs to, because that is you. It's your life. It's this existence. It may be an illusion, but it's a very real illusion, and it is a learning opportunity. This illusion of time and of space is a gift, and this gift is teaching us. And when we can learn together, when we can live together and learn to love together, and share that love with passion and with empathy, the empathy that the medicine awakens in us, and even for those who have not participated in sacred ceremony with medicine, with psychedelics, maybe you've already evolved in and through an experience that has awakened that for you, and that's been your journey. And so, you'll teach me, and I hope we can teach one another, and I hope we can grow together. So what's helped me with this integration and coming to these understandings is the fact that I've maintained diligently a routine of exercise every morning. I do, at the very least, I will do push-ups and I will do crunches. At the very least, no matter how busy my day is going to be, I need to get in some exercise. It helps me get started. It helps my blood get pumping. It helps me to feel alive. It helps me to feel healthy. And it's something that I do. I found it necessary to force myself to shower every day when I was going through the grieving process of the loss of my husband, which again I discussed in previous videos, partner of 32 years. And it was very important that I get up every day and do some exercise and take a shower, force myself to take a shower, do chores, clean the house, keep a tidy and neat place. I was forced to sell my home. I did sell my home. I now live here. I moved from San Diego area to Oregon, into a tiny house community, and I now live in a tiny house, 386 square foot tiny house. And it serves my purpose. I've just no longer have a real desire for a lot of things. I don't feel as much of an attachment to things. There are some things that I've surrounded myself with that have memories that I cherish, but the memories are here, and the memories are here in my heart. And I came to realize that through the integration process of the ceremony too, that I could separate and distinguish the difference between the things and the real memories that are, in my heart and in my being, in my soul. And so the things don't matter so much anymore to me. And so I've downsized significantly, and it's been good for me. It's a really good thing. I have less obligation. So forgive me for going a little bit all over the place. I have a lot that I want to focus on. This video is probably going to bounce around a little bit and highlight some of the things that I want to come back to with other videos that I can discuss more specifically and hopefully more concisely. So I will be talking about owning your story. I will be talking about more about the integration process, I'm sure, because that's been critical, like I said. So meditating every morning is something that I do. I meditate at least 20 minutes, but up to an hour every morning, when I have the time. Fortunately, right now I have the time. And so I'm putting in a good amount of meditation time. And there are days where honestly, I don't hit that zone. More often than not, I do. The medicine really helped open me up to. There was a portal that was open to me. I had a hard time meditating prior to the the initial 5-MeO ceremony, and since that time, something opened it within me, and I've been able to meditate. Some people do it naturally. Some people, have meditated for years, and they're just can drop right into that meditative state. I find it relatively easy now. There are days, again, where maybe I'm having a little tougher time with, I'm sinking back into grief or missing Lee and my husband that passed, and I find myself distracted. But I will at least sit down for 20 minutes and put myself into silence, just complete silence, and center myself and remind myself of what I know, where I've been, and how short this millisecond of an instant that we call life really is, and how soon I will return to that place that you can learn more about if you want to watch one of my previous videos again. So that's something that I feel is really important. So owning your story, there's a lot of talk and a lot of discussion that owning your story leads me to, where I see a lot of people even arguing within the spiritual community, within the community of psychedelics, or the community of just people who are studying metaphysics, studying all things related to spirituality and spiritual development. And there's, some people even argue about non-duality versus duality. And it was something that at first was very challenging for me, because I went back to source, and I became very, very aware of the fact that we are all one. We're all one. We're all connected. I am you, you are me. And really there is just this oneness that exists. However, we are existing. Those of you that watch this video, you're existing in a physical realm, just like I am. Just we're existing as physical beings in this physical reality. And in that sense, there is duality. It's an illusion, sure, but it's a very real illusion, and it's serving its purpose to help us evolve, to help us grow, to help us learn to live in love, to give love, to be love. And that's the beauty of this existence. And the important thing, I think, to remember is that as long as we're walking in love and we're serving one another in love, it doesn't matter to me if you want to call it duality or non-duality. It really doesn't matter to me. I'm not going to be hung up on semantics, because the source is an incredible love. That's where we come from. That's who we are. That's what we are, beyond this physical being, beyond this illusion of Kelly Allen, beyond what I like to call me. It doesn't matter. When this is gone, when this fades away, the true I am is love. And as a unique spark of that love, that's my focus. And I'm not going to worry about having discussions about duality versus non-duality. I believe that we are all one. I believe that we all come from that same source. I do believe that. I was there, and that's what I experienced. But again, if I have an experience that helps me to understand that to an even greater extent, then that's fantastic. But at some point, I believe I'll be making a video where I'll discuss the whole topic of duality versus non-duality. And there are a lot of different teachings, different spiritual masters that have addressed this topic. And I know a lot of people here in the West, the Northern Hemisphere, there's a kind of this tendency to think of Christ and Christ consciousness. And I like to look at Christ as an example. I like to look at all ascended masters. And I like to read the teachings of the ascended masters, and I like to learn from them all. But to speak to the teaching of Christ, when you look, Christ was in the garden of Gethsemane, and he was crying out to the Father, and he was saying, if it be possible, let this cup pass from me. And, speaking about the suffering that was going to be coming. And whether or not you believe that's literal or metaphorical, it does speak to duality. And if even Christ, an ascended master of his status, his level of ascension, of evolution, of heightened awareness, would cry out the physical to the spiritual, then what does that represent to us? It's just food for thought. If we have the ascended masters going and teaching other disciples, and they're speaking to them, then obviously there is some sense of duality. I mean, it to me, that's in my meditations, that's what I'm resonating to, is that the ascended masters would speak to and teach and try to help others. Well, just the fact that they're helping others, the word others implies a duality. So I do believe that in the physical realm it is dualistic, and in the spiritual realm, from my experience with the 5-MeO, DMT, Bufo Alvarius, when I went back to source, it was all one. It was all one. It was, everything connected, everything and everyone connected in love, and that's all that mattered. And that was what I came back with, the greatest impression. And I had a complete life review even, and I don't know if the medicine brought back the life review that I didn't remember when I died and was revived when I attempted suicide. I don't know, but at any rate, it was just an awareness of oneness. It really was, and the message being, the most prominent message being, that it's all love, and that's what's really important. So I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up, I think, here. But those are some of the topics that I hope to do additional videos on and speak to more, because I think there may be interest. And as far as integration, I hope to elaborate far more on the integration process, but I would really like to encourage anyone who's thinking about, feeling called by medicine. If you feel like you're being called, please go into it with a careful consideration of the set and setting. Please look into that. You can, there's a wealth of information available now on YouTube, and I hope to speak more to that myself, but I'm not going to be the only source or the final source by any means. This is relatively new to me. I've been on a spiritual journey my entire life, and I wrote a book about that a number of years back, and I have studied a lot, but I've by no means ever come to the point where I felt like I had it all figured out, and I don't expect to. I really don't. I mean, not while I'm in this physical being, because if I'm still in this physical being, then obviously there's a reason I am a human being, and there's a reason that I'm still here. And if it's to teach and to learn, then I'm going to do whatever I can to fulfill that. I really want to fulfill my purpose for being here. I have a much deeper understanding of why I'm here, and I have an understanding of the divine agreement I made, including coming together with my husband and the decision to come into this world and suffer at the hands of people. And I say suffer. If you watch my previous videos, what we think is suffering is actually some of the best gifts, some of the greatest gifts we could ever be given. So that's a whole nother topic within itself. But I hope to help, and I hope that those who my videos resonate with will find them helpful, and I hope that as I grow, I can continue to be more helpful, and I hope that you'll make comments and you'll feel free to reach out and communicate with me, because I'm open to learning from you. I am here to share, I'm here to communicate, and I'm here to learn and hopefully teach and hopefully help, and hopefully with a consistent humility. Not a false humility, not a pretentious humility. I really want to serve some purpose while I'm still here. I really want to be able to help any way I can. And as I continue to explore, I'll be sharing more. I also plan to share some more about some of the, a couple significant experiences that I did have with, like I said before, psilocybin, magic mushrooms, and I'll try to share my experiences with that, and how that was so significantly helpful and healing. And I'm very, very careful to not promote the use of psychedelics. I'm here to help. I do want to educate, and I do want to help people avoid pitfalls of just going into it haphazardly and thinking, oh yeah, this is something that's really cool, a lot of people are talking about, I want to go do it. It's very sacred, and it's something that you should not go into lightly, and there should be a lot of thought and consideration, and then a lot of attention to, like I mentioned before, the set and setting, and look into that. There's a lot of information on YouTube about set and setting, so please, take the journey. If you choose to go down this path, take the journey knowing that it's sacred, and treat it as such. And I love you guys, and I will sign off for now, and I hope to be back with another video real soon.